Velasco, and thank you for reading.
Manny Pacquiao, Nicole, I don't think there'll be a problem for Manny.
Has its share of great fights. But every once in a while, human mind can also be controlled and nothing. Again, happy nothing.
Ako po si Associated PM, only here on Para sa Bayan.
That's the opening bell for Round by Round presented by Eastern Communications. Mabuhay Pilipinas! Welcome world! I'm Nisi Casiano.
And I'm Dennis Principe. Ryan Songalia will join us later on in the show.
Tonight is a very special episode because Round by Round is celebrating the 46th anniversary of Trilla in Manila, featuring the third and final bout in the rivalry between Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier that took place at the Araneta Coliseum on October 1st, 1975. Let's talk about the fight itself first. Dennis, most fight fans and experts have this fight on their list as one of the best fights in boxing history. As someone who has pretty much seen it all, whether you're at ringside or watching it on TV, what was the standard that this fight set for it to stand the test of time as one of the greatest boxing matches of all time?
Akala ko sasabihin mo nung nandun ako sa ringside.
Di naman. Let's give the benefit of the doubt.
Well, it's, people are talking about it. Just like how people enjoy the Beatles up to now, but the thing is, si Ali lang at si Fraser ang nakagawa nun. It's incomparable. You can't say that you can do another Ali Fraser type of either a trilogy or the way they fought in that third fight. As far as the sport is concerned, yung nakamit ng Trilla in Manila, it cemented yung claim ng sport of boxing as a glamorous sport. Because remember, for the longest time, merong mga claims na masyadong brutal. Brutality is really talagang unacceptable for sinasabi nila a lot of people. But with the millions of people na nanood ng ang laban, not only here in the Philippines but also abroad, those who followed yung laban na yan, from the time that napagkasunduan, the number itself, the sheer number itself ng sumusubaybay ng boxing is it cemented yung status of the sport. It also helped a lot na yung dalawang gentlemen who fought inside the ring, talagang they were able to parang mahiwalay nila yung pagiging macho nila into being gentlemen after the fight. Remember, they were two of the humblest guys in the world after that fight. So while I don't think it's comparable to any trilogy or to any great matchups na napapanood natin and posibleng mapanood natin, there's only one Muhammad Ali, there's only one Joe Frazier, and there's only one Trilla in Manila.
Now, let's discuss the cultural impact of this fight. When you say Trilla in Manila, it has a place in pop culture. Athletes overseas or even treat the Araneta Coliseum as hallowed grounds. Aside from the action that transpired in the ring, what made Trilla in Manila special and memorable for the magnitude of it as an event to transcend beyond the four corners of the ring?
Well, again, going back to what I said kanina, the way both personalities, the way both icons handled themselves before, during, and after, talagang it was a balancing act on both of them, na hindi naman talaga nila say they were not very conscious about elevating the sport into kung saan man ito nandun ngayon. It's like parang ano sila, yung Michael Jordan and Larry Bird or Magic Johnson, na inakyat nila yung level ng boxing. That's why while both combatants are Americans, nakita natin yung pag-embrace sa kanila ng like what you mentioned, people from all over the world. Talaga namang it was not being two Americans inside the ring. It was about two human beings trying to elevate the sport of boxing. Kaya at saka it's a sport na marami nakaka-relate because most of the practitioners, the athletes of the sport came from yung sinasabi nga na from nothing, kahirapan. So marami nakaka-relate, and it's good that because of Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier, nabigyan nila ng dignity itong sport na to, na before Thrilla in Manila matagal na hinahanap ng mga taong involved sa sport of boxing.
Nabanggit mo na untouchable to, incomparable. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to top. I mean, in 2006 when Manny Pacquiao fought Oscar Larios, it was dubbed as Thrilla in Manila 2. But we all know it failed to recapture the same magic. Now, as a sports person and a journalist, saan mo irarango itong event na to throughout the history of Philippine sports?
We're talking of yung Manny Pacquiao ba or yung Thrilla in Manila?
In total na itong level na nangyari 46 years ago, kasi nagkaroon tayo ng FIBA Asia Championships, ginawa natin dito in 2019 SEA Games. I mean, throughout history of Philippine sports, is it up there itong Thrilla in Manila?
It's solely up there. Lahat tinitingala. Wala nakakapantay sa Thrilla in Manila because even up to now people are talking about it. No one needed to be reminded about it. Pag sinabi mong Thrilla in Manila, automatic na alam nila Ali Frazier, alam nila what happened. HBO for one did a documentary about it, an extensive documentary at that. Alam mo, pag ikaw naging part of HBO project as a documentary, alam mong talagang malaking event yan. And I cannot recall of any sporting event na talagang it will be able to come close to whatever Thrilla in Manila achieved for it being held here in the Philippines.
Dennis, as a boxing fan and also as an observer of the sport, saan nakarango naman sa iyo itong Thrilla in Manila doon sa best fights of all time? At least sa libro mo,
Again, ganun pa rin, it's on top, of if I try to recall, all the fights na na-cover ko, all the fights that I researched, iba yung drama, while you may say that I'm biased because I was able to enjoy the documentary, people were not talking about just Ali or Frazier or the event itself, how it started, how it ended. They were talking about the country. They were talking about a president was involved, a first lady was involved, the state of a nation. It turned out to be, yung state of our nation at that time. And when they talk about Thrilla in Manila, crucial part, of the fight itself, of the promotion itself. It was part of the promotion. Hindi mo pwedeng tanggalin, pag pinag-usapan yung Thrilla in Manila, So talagang sa lawak, ng nasakop nitong Thrilla in Manila, when you try to talk about it, talaga namang masasabi natin na it's one of a kind event na napanood ng lahat ng mga mahihilig sa sports and even yung mga hindi mahilig sa sports.
It's time for our Fearless Fighter of the Day presented by Eastern Communications. In line with the 46th anniversary of Thrilla in Manila, our Fearless Fighter of the Day is Nico Ali Walsh, the grandson of Muhammad Ali. Under Top Rank Promotions, Nico made his professional debut last August, defeating Jordan Weeks by way of first round TKO. Dennis, what are the few good takeaways from Nico Ali Walsh's pro debut, and what are the things do you think he should work on?
He's got power. Ano, I think he's a much bigger puncher than his grandfather, kasi nakita ko na talagang solid. Ano? The way he releases yung kanyang right straight is really solid, and the way he sets up yung kanyang jab. Ano? I think he's got legit power. Ano? In terms of improvement, yung defense lang. No? Because it's still very raw. It's very obvious naman, you know. And I think there is a conscious effort to mimic si Muhammad Ali. No? Nakikita mo sa shorts pa lang, no? Ginaya na. The way he bounces inside the ring, the way he throws yung kanyang jab and straight, ano? Yung bobbing and weaving, yun ang wala pa, no? And I think what we're going to see is a fighter being trained not just to defeat yung kanyang kalaban, but to be like his grandfather. Ano? I think magkakaroon ng conscious effort na ganito yung lolo mo, ganito gumalaw, ganito lumaban, patalon-talon, pag bumitaw ng jab and everything. No? But I think if there's someone na pwedeng makagaya sa style, it may be this young man na apo nga ni Muhammad Ali.
Dennis, the Ali name is both a blessing and a curse. But do you think he has what it takes to at least shy away from the Ali name and be Nico Ali Walsh?
I guess so, no? Because again, if you have power, no, on both hands, malaking advantage na yun. You can say na meron kang future sa sport of boxing. You know? Now, the second most important for me, more than the toughness, ano, yung ability to take a punch, is yung heart, ano, yung puso mo, no, to give your all, ano. Isang bagay lang na could be a drawback, ano, because he grew up, no, sa isang family na well off. Alam naman natin na yung pinagkukunan ng tapang ng mga boxers is yung poverty, no. We still have to hear, no, a world champion na talaga namang, you know, maganda yung naging buhay nila before they became champion. He could be the guy na
break the
first
mold.
guy to break, yes. No, so yes, I think for him to have that power, it's legit power, kasi nakita ko hindi chamba yung batoy, no. Talagang planado, no, jab straight, both hands, maganda yung power. So he's a work in progress, and very interesting na abangan din, no, itong batang ito.
And that's our Eastern Communications Fearless Fighter of the Day. The heavyweight division has played an important role in boxing. It bred the best fighters in the sport, including Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, Jack Dempsey, and Rocky Marciano. However, there was a period in boxing history that the heavyweight division lost its luster. It became really stale, even though we had the Klitschko brothers from 2002 to 2015. The division took a backseat, probably because of their dominance. Now, for the first time in years, the heavyweight division is back on the spotlight thanks to Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, and Anthony Joshua. Also, Andy Ruiz and now Alexander Usyk have a part to play. Dennis, is it safe to say that we're witnessing the resurgence of the heavyweight division?
All I can say is that for a while, you know, and I think up to this point, boxing is coming back to life. It's just that it's still in the ICU, you know, because I grew up during the time, you know, Mike Tyson, Lennox Lewis, Riddick Bowe, Evander Holyfield,
Mm.
lahat yan halos nagsabay-sabay. Ngayon, if we talk of superstars, Tyson Fury lang, ano? Andiyan si Deontay Wilder. Too bad for the sport, natalo si Anthony Joshua. And I don't think Alexander Usyk is the man, ano, na makakabigay ng buhay sa heavyweight division, no? And if you look at it, mukhang hindi maganda rin pa rin ang future ng heavyweight division because no one among the young fighters have that parang glitter na makikita mo, no? That, you know, for them to be the next standard bearer of the heavyweight division. So it's in a tough situation right now, ano? Pero who knows, ano? For one, Tyson Fury is not getting any younger, no?
Yes.
So he's probably good for 2 or 3 fights at most, ano? But so it's in a tough situation right now, and sad to say, no, I don't like the future at the moment of this division.
We talked about Thrilla in Manila in the first part of this episode. I know there are a lot of aspects that would be incomparable, but can you say there are shades of how heated the rivalry was back in the day with this new generation of heavyweights?
Wala eh. Wala akong makita. For a while, yung Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder, no? But, you know, should have been, ano, itong dalawa because they've got 2 great backings, ano? One is British, one is American. But the problem is, they never became global. And may partida pa nga sila kumpara dun sa Thrilla in Manila because, you know, with social media, coming into play, supposedly dapat nabenta sila ng todo. Back in the day, you only had newspaper, no, and television, radio. That's it, no? Very limited. But now, no, with social media, doon mo lang makikita, no, na talagang mahirapan pa rin ang heavyweight division at this point in time.
Now, what are the things that Joshua, Wilder, Fury, and others bring to the table na totally wala sa past generation of heavyweights? Let's talk about the good side.
But probably athleticism. It's good for them because they're able to extend, no, their career, but it is apparently turning out to be a drawback, no? Because yung time, the time of Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield, alam mo may babagsak eh. No? This time parang you have to be prepared to watch a 12-round fight. Ano? And it's tough nowadays because sabi nga natin, mabilis na yung mundo natin. No? Activities are getting faster and faster. No? So parang 30 minutes of watching something is turning out to be boring for a lot of people. So kailangan you have to prepare something explosive. Ano? And if you talk of Fury, Wilder, kahit na nagkaroon ng bagsakan yung kanilang last fight, no? There's no guarantee pa rin that someone will end up as a knockout victor. No? Yun ang problema dito. No? Medyo yung mga katulad ni na Wilder et al. No? Very scientific. No? And I think it is serving as a turn-off to the paying public.
For our next segment, we turn it over to Ryan Songalia.
With Manny Pacquiao formally announcing his retirement this week, the countdown begins to his Hall of Fame induction. One could argue that he's accomplished enough for 2 separate Hall of Fame careers for what he's accomplished below and above 130 pounds. His record reads like a hit list of current and future Hall of Famers, including Oscar De La Hoya, Eric Morales, and Miguel Cotto, while earning world titles in an unprecedented 8 divisions. When Pacquiao is finally enshrined in the Hall of Fame, he will join 3 other Filipinos who have already been inducted. Who are they? I recently took a trip up to the International Boxing Hall of Fame in Canastota, New York, about a 4-hour drive north of New York City. Inside the building are artifacts and boxing gear belonging to some of the greatest fighters of all time. The hall had its first induction in 1990, and each year the small town comes alive with boxing legends reliving their glory days as they mingle with fans and former rivals. Among the plaques there are Gabriel Flash Elorde, the former junior lightweight champion from Cebu, who held the title for 7 years during the 1960s. Elorde was inducted in 1993, and his family still visits and participates in Hall of Fame events. A year later, Pancho Villa, the first ever boxing champion from Asia, joined the Hall in the old-timers category. Villa, who died at age 23 of a tooth infection, won the flyweight championship in 1923 with a 7th-round knockout of Jimmy Wild in New York. Lope Sarial was the most recent Filipino to earn induction into the Hall in 2005. The grand old man of Philippine boxing promoted 22 world champions, including Flash Elorde, who was also his son-in-law. Sarial was inducted in the non-participants category. After Pacquiao, will we ever see another Filipino in the Hall of Fame? You can bet that Nonito Donaire Jr. will be inducted as soon as he can meet the 3-year retirement requirement. Donaire Jr. is world champion in 5 different divisions. And as for who comes afterwards, it's up to the next generation of Filipino fighters to make their mark.
Thanks, Ryan. And that's the final bell for today's episode of Round by Round, presented by Eastern Communications. I'm Nisi Casiano.
And I am Dennis Principe. We are on Facebook, 9 p.m. Monday to Friday. At sa YouTube, syempre, huwag niyo pong kalimutan to like, follow, and share ang ating pong mga episodes. And syempre, don't forget to hit the notification bell for you to get notified sa mga latest updates and mga fearless views ng inyong mga kasparmates dito po sa ating program.
Bill Velasco, Attorney Ed Tolentino, and yours truly will be working the fights for you on Monday. So catch us on the next Round by Round, all boxing, all Filipino, all the time. See you on Monday.